Assistant Manager Yoon Haje's emotions were a tangled mess.
If I'm going to leave, I'd like to go in peace.
Apparently, that was an impossible wish.
Hey, move back. Do you think I didn't notice you already guessed one right?
Move back. I haven't guessed a single one yet.
The scene had already been unseemly when everyone acted as if they were watching a spectator sport while fending for themselves. But now, with everyone monitoring and sabotaging each other while yelling, it had gotten worse. It was like watching a wagon wheel stuck in place, unable to move because of friction, only building up heat.
Row that punk. He's really something else.
It had been a long time since Yoon Haje had seen such excellent political maneuvering.
Good thing he's a decent guy.
Judging by the mess in front of her, they might actually stall for more than an hour.
How long has it been? 20 minutes?
And yet, with only one letter filled in so far.
Here's the hint for the 6th blank letter. Whose obituary call caused teacher Yoon Haje's airplane trauma?
Assistant Manager Yoon, who passed Awa.
But what was the point of stalling anyway? Isn't it the same outcome? All my secrets will get exposed, and I'll die.
It wasn't like Yoon Haje cared about preserving her honor anymore, but the longer it dragged on, the more bitter and tired she felt. And the more she thought about what those two hoobies were planning, the more dizzy she became.
They're about to do something crazy.
Yoon Haje recalled Ro's earlier whisper.
During the hanging, remember this.
It hadn't been a request, but a statement, one that wouldn't take no for an answer. If they were really determined to go through with it, wasn't it only fair that Yoon Haje did her best to survive? Though she couldn't say whether their resolve would hold in a few minutes.
Let's see how it goes.
Yoon Haje crossed her arms philosophically, and so 20 minutes, 40 minutes passed.
Hell yeah! It's right! The be and believe!
The word was starting to take shape, and at this point it's only natural that someone would catch on. The word's true identity. 1 hour and 8 minutes had passed. The word was complete.
The word that best represents teacher Yoon Haje is betrayer. 4 years ago, as a reporter, teacher Yoon Haje betrayed her longtime boss and team, trying to publish an exclusive article on her own. She failed and had her story stolen. And during this process, her false report caused severe emotional distress to her sources, leaving them in despair until some of them actually died. What's the moral of this story? The answer is, people who betray their workplace deserve punishment. Hangman is an excellent educational game used here at Something Kindergarten to teach the moral of justice and retribution to our students.
This is the one time I really regret not being able to curse.
Listening to this, it makes your sunbae sound like such a terrible person, but
You wouldn't know for sure, unless you heard it directly from them.
that's just how this kind of darkness works.
It isolates the victim, inflicts psychological torment, and uses penalties to scare the remaining members of the field exploration team into compliance.
I think it's not too late to talk about it after we all make it out alive.
Exactly. You're right, Ro. That's why.
Yoon Haje watched with a conflicted heart. Through the open door of the playroom, figures stepped in unison, moving slowly and fluidly. There were no melting black substances, no screams. Just pristine pastel outfits, smiling faces, aprons, and name tags. The brand marks on their foreheads.
Dreamsprout class something.
Those people are the ones who were fully contaminated and trapped here. No, the monsters that used to be people. Don't make eye contact. If you get scared, you might be affected. I turned my eyes away as much as I could from those figures.
Now let's hang the hangman one last time.
I recalled the conversation we had during preparations.
Supervisor, if it feels like too much of a burden.
You're telling me to push it on to you?
Oh, come on. That's not happening. This is my custom equipment. You couldn't use it even if you tried.
I wasn't saying I'd do it, but thanks. And now the supervisor was holding his custom equipment. Wasn't it called the Mimic Scarf? It looked no different from the one he had used to help me during the exhibition. But there was one key difference.
It's actually sopping wet now, huh?
We had dumped all the remaining contents of the drink enhancer onto it. The same enhancer that doubled the effect of the smiley sticker during the Tuesday quiz show. I drenched that scarf completely without holding back, to avoid dirtying the floor with foreign substances, which would incur a penalty. We'd spread my suit jacket beneath it, essentially sacrificing it. And if the enhancer worked, the camouflage gear should have tremendous power, even if just once. At least until the moisture dried. Since we were racing against time, it was perfect for the job.
All right, I'll use it now.
The supervisor glanced at the kindergarten teachers climbing onto the stage, then silently pulled the scarf over his face. He became one of them perfectly. Ah, excellent. A convincing disguise. It won't hold for long, though. It only needs to last for a moment. And I had to act, too. I waited until Supervisor Park had blended in with the teachers, and then started moving, slightly delayed to stagger the timing. I had to get as close to the stage as possible for Braun to use his ability, and if I could draw some attention away, it would make it easier for Supervisor Park Min-seong to maneuver unnoticed among the monsters. But as I raised my head, I froze. I had forgotten something critical.
Teacher Kim Soleum, listen to me. I finished reading the handbook. 1. Something kindergarten is eternal. 2. I follow the rules. Everything is perfect. I am a perfect teacher. Everyone is safe, happy, and there are no accidents. No one jumps. Our something kindergarten is a perfect and safe haven where everyone follows the rules and educates endlessly. Once you finish reading the handbook, Teacher Kim Soleum, you'll be like me. Now just read the handbook quickly.
Countless something kindergarten teachers stood, smiling. They were not human. They had never been human. Just looking at them sent an instinctive warning down my spine. That I would something if I were to approach, that I would be grabbed by the back of my neck, that I'd be left with nothing else to do but scream. I knew it already. The more I was afraid, the worse the mental contamination would get. I just had to endure. And I knew I had to stand close to them, attracting their attention. Compared to Supervisor Park Min-seong, who had to fully blend into their midst, what I had to do wasn't even that difficult. Did I hold back a scream? What on earth is this? They said. Feeling fear leads to contamination, right? Is my fear drawing the contamination toward me? I'm supposed to draw their attention? I'm supposed to draw their Cold sweat dripped from my chin. I barely managed to move my left foot forward, taking a single step. Their gazes locked onto me.
New teacher.
The tattoo sticker. I need to use it. I need to use it now. There's no way I can endure. No, hold on. I can't use them now. This is panic talking. What I need isn't courage. It's rationality. No, maybe I should.
Mr. Rodeer, I'm curious. What's your favorite fruit? Mr. Rodeer, a humble admirer named Braun is eagerly awaiting your answer. Your favorite fruit, please. Ah, excellent choice. A symbol of abundance and nourishment. In ancient Egypt, they were revered as sacred fruit, and in Greece, they were celebrated as a cultural beverage. Shall we delve deeper? Let's move forward!
I slowly took another step.
New teacher Unhaje will dangle by her neck and die. That's what the hangman game is about.
Staring at the ground, I moved forward.
How about wine? It's a beverage that has evolved alongside human civilization, shaped by the grape variety, harvest timing, and aging methods. Over millennia, it has been refined, driven by the desires and determination of producers and consumers to perfect its methods and results.
Soon the edge of the stage came into view. I had reached just below the platform.
Mr. Rodeer, your steps are no different. In this show, boldness is essential. Without it, you vanish. And Mr. Rodeer, you've proven to be a participant who won't vanish. It's all coming back to me now! Yes! You were the MVP. This time, too. Let's follow your desires and determination.
Braun spoke cheerfully.
Now, let's play our assigned roles brilliantly, shall we? Encouraging my crew is my specialty!
I was genuinely grateful. I took a deep breath. Though the smiling teacher's gazes landed on me again, it felt more bearable. The whispers and phrases didn't burrow into my brain enough to overwhelm me with fear or contamination. Don't let fear consume me. I steadied myself and stood, looking up at the teachers crowded on the platform.
New teacher Yoon Hajae, please step onto the platform.
The execution had begun. The kindergarten teachers stood in abundance atop the colorful, cheerful stage. It looked as though an event was about to take place, but what they surrounded was an executioner's block, a black execution scaffold. At the scaffold, a black line extended straight ahead. At the end of the line were assembled body parts. Both legs, both arms, thighs, waist, chest, neck, and finally a head. The moment the head appeared on the stage, the parts merged, and assistant manager Yoon Hajae exhaled deeply. Then, looking at the teachers surrounding her, she clenched her teeth. Likely holding back a stream of expletives, Yoon Haje's face was pale as she moved her feet. The black holographic ropes forced her limbs to move, guiding her toward the scaffold amidst the crowd of teachers. This is the moment. Of course, any contact with the teacher chosen as the hangman was strictly forbidden. Any attempt to rescue them, even a last handshake or an item exchange, was prohibited. Even if someone tried to risk a penalty, their actions would be blocked just before the attempt. So, the only opportunity to act was during one specific moment.
The hangman is ascending the scaffold. This is what happens when you guess correctly.
When Yoon Haje appeared on the stage and began ascending the scaffold, at the exact moment she passed directly beside the teachers. One teacher gave her something. Supervisor Park Min-seong, perfectly disguised as a kindergarten teacher, handed something to assistant manager Yoon Haje. Since Yoon Haje's arms and legs were bound by ropes, she couldn't use them. Only small movable parts of her body were functional. The something handed over in passing disappeared into Yoon Haje's mouth in an instant, as if nothing had happened. Yoon Haje continued walking, expressionless, and finally stepped onto the gallows. This is where the second critical moment came.
Now, let's begin the execution.
Let's see your mask in a whole new light, reframing the familiar!
I frantically looked up at Yoon Haje. The black holographic rope around her neck gained physical form and texture, and then it pulled upward. I wanted to avert my gaze so badly, but I forced myself to watch, pretending to be unaffected. The rope pulled with a disturbingly immense force, and then the headless body tumbled down from the stage. The lifeless body part fell right in front of me, and I caught it. It was limp, devoid of any signs of life. Then, it gradually faded until it completely vanished.
The game has ended. New teachers, please wait for your evaluation.
Ah, it's finally over. So you won the bet, Supervisor Rodeer. Man, how'd you stop anyone from guessing twice?
The other staff, who had been waiting at the back per the kindergarten's instruction to watch the hangman's final moments in the playroom, approached with relieved sighs and complaints.
Ah, is this your first time seeing a team member die? Honestly, Yoon Haje wasn't the kind of person who'd live long anyway.
One of them gave my shoulder a light pat.
Well, don't take it too hard, okay? She's dead now.
Why are you smiling?
They stared at me like I'd lost my mind.
Ugh, what is this?
Screams erupted from those who looked up at the stage. Not because they saw Yoon Haje's severed head. One of them pointed at the stage with a trembling voice.
But it was definitely a head.
I looked at Yoon Jae's severed left hand, lying on the stage, and chuckled. I never thought I'd laugh at the sight of a severed body part, but I couldn't help it.
Ah, what a remarkable piece of craftsmanship! And what an amusing idea, switching the head and hand!
The plan was to switch Yoon Haje's head and hand while concealing it from everyone's eyes. So during the execution, instead of her head, one of her hands would be severed.
Using hands or feet to substitute for other body parts is a classic stage trick!
Braun, muttering about doing this only for a friend, was unexpectedly brilliant in this moment. But this isn't over yet. For the hangman to escape, they have to die and leave as a corpse. If Yoon Haje had somehow survived the execution, the system would have noticed and enforced another way to follow the rules.
All I have to do is place this plum-sized apple in her mouth, right?
Supervisor Park Min-seong had been essential to the plan. While disguised as a teacher in that fleeting moment that assistant manager Yoon Haje passed by, what he had slipped into her mouth was none of the Snow White Mountain mini apples. It was an item I carried, designed to induce death-like sleep. It was a stroke of luck that the wrist storage upgrade let me carry a whole apple instead of just juice. That's why I was able to give these instructions.
Assistant manager, when the apple enters your mouth as you ascend the scaffold, swallow the final piece just before your wrist is severed. It will happen in that moment! That's all.
Nha followed the instructions to the letter. At the exact moment when her wrist, mistaken for her neck by everyone, was severed, Nha swallowed the last piece of the apple. This put her in a state identical to death. Her body, now indistinguishable from a corpse, was recognized as having been executed as the hangman and successfully ejected from the ghost story. Outside that outcome, no other possibility could have worked in this situation. I pressed my hands against my face. Even so, I wanted to leave and confirm his survival as soon as possible. What if someone mistook the body for a corpse and transported it away? It felt too early to feel catharsis or relief. I just wanted to get out of here quickly.
The evaluation is ready.
Thankfully, the TV displayed the final signal. Soon, it would announce which participants contributed to completing the hangman word and which didn't, assigning penalties or granting a pass accordingly. From the looks of it, no one seemed contaminated enough to fail escaping. As the teachers on the platform disappeared, Supervisors Park Min-seong finally jumped down from the stage.
We did it, right?
The supervisor collapsed onto the ground in relief and joy.
It was worth squeezing into that gap.
Even though his face was pale, Park Min-seong grinned earnestly as he finally removed the camouflage equipment.
Supervisor, you didn't guess a letter, so you'll probably get another penalty.
I can handle up to the second one.
As we had discussed earlier, the supervisor nodded, accepting the consequence.
Honestly, it doesn't feel great, but, well, taking one penalty for missing a correct answer is way better than letting the assistant manager die. I'll stop at the second. There's no way I'll get a third, so I'll be fine.
Goodness. Ding! Wrong! New teachers must remain at the bottom of the platform. Stepping onto the stage is prohibited. As a penalty, you must read the handbook aloud for 10 minutes.
Park Min-seong looked back up at the spot he had just stepped down from, and then he was dragged away. A black holographic book descended over Supervisor Park Min-seong's head. The hologram clung to him like tar, seeping over his body as he clawed at the ground, struggling in vain. Behind his writhing figure, the TV's cheerful voice resumed.
Now, let's reveal the new teachers who failed to actively participate in the hangman game.
Similar scenes began to unfold across the room. The real issue was...
New teacher Park Min-seong, you didn't guess a single letter correctly.
One penalty had already been accumulated. Stepping onto the stage added another.
3 penalties accumulated.
The TV declared its verdict.
New teacher Park Min-seong is designated as a permanent trainee. You will remain here forever, receiving training and preparing to become a perfect unknown kindergarten teacher.
The black holographic books covering the faces of those who failed to guess letters remained, but only Park Min-seong's turned a fiery red and spread across his entire body. His scream warped into something unnatural.
And something...
His body twisted and thrashed on the floor in grotesque contortions. Incomprehensible excerpts from the handbook were read aloud, overlapping with his sobs and screams. Yet no one around paid attention. A few glanced over, only to quickly step away as if avoiding any connection, waiting for the next stage outlined in the manual.
Thank you for your efforts in today's dry run. Goodbye, new teachers.
Finally, it's over.
As soon as the game ended, everyone realized they were free to curse and run, and a flood of participants surged out of the playroom. Even those who had just finished their 10-minute penalty, coughing up the tar-like hologram and clutching their heads in pain, staggered upright and limped or ran out, bumping into me along the way.
The door only stays open for 30 minutes. If you don't get out now, you'll be treated as a permanent trainee too. Damn it!
They brushed past me and kept running. And so I was left alone. Alone, except for the contaminated Park Min-seong writhing on the floor.
Oh dear, my friend is being mistaken as a volunteer in such an outdated place! Let's leave immediately, Mr. Roe Deer!
The rules of this ghost story had also ended. In the worst case, I can run out on my own in 10 minutes and make it through the door.
I have to at least try to take the supervisor with me.
I had to try as much as I could. After all, I'd succeeded before. I don't want to give up so easily. I didn't want this story to end with saving the hangman by exploiting a sliver of a loophole, only to have the one who tried to save them disappear into the legend. I don't want some casual note on a wiki saying, an incident where the rescuer of the hangman was lost. I raised my head and reached for the tattoo on my wrist. From the heated tattoo, the items I had stored began to appear. The candle-making kit, apple juice, the blood-sucking knife, stickers, and dozens of 501 coins bundled together.
Oh, what fascinating tools will you use this time, friend?
I'm not using anything.
Then what is this?
I stuffed all the items into my briefcase. Given that I hadn't brought the blood bathtub with me, I was left with just enough room to fit everything snugly. The blood-sucking knife, which looked like it could burst out of the bag due to its size, was carefully set aside into my back pocket. The fully packed briefcase was heavy, but not so much that I couldn't carry it while running. And now, there was one thing left to do. The now empty subspace in my wrist.
Ah, you were clearing it for a purpose?
I briefly reached into the tattoo's connected subspace and pulled my hand back out.
This subspace, it's a cube with a volume equivalent from 60 centimeters per side, right?
It's irregular, isn't it?
Braun's voice carried a mix of amusement and interest. It's all or nothing. I'd heard it before. The idea that being contaminated and trapped in this ghost story forever, unable to die, was far worse than death. I gritted my teeth and waited for Supervisor Park Min-seong's third penalty to finish. Trying to do anything now would be foolish. Trying to communicate with someone in the middle of their penalty would result in the holographic handbook graciously attaching itself to me as well. And then, I'd spend 10 minutes reading the handbook, effectively out of commission. That would be the end. I forced myself to suppress my anxiety and waited calmly. Time remaining for the penalty, 7 minutes. The tar-like red substance surrounding Supervisor Park Min-seong disappeared. His appearance had transformed completely into that of a kindergarten teacher. The black suit he had worn was replaced with soft beige pants, a white shirt, and a light green apron. In one hand, he held a brown folder with a red title.
Unknown Kindergarten Handbook.
His mask had completely melted away, revealing his face, and on his forehead, clear and vivid, was the brand of his assigned class. A gentle smile spread across Supervisor Park Min-seong's fully exposed face.
Did you wait for me to finish reading the handbook? Thank you so much.
Of course I had to wait.
Don't let it show. Don't panic. Showing anything now would be disastrous.
How are you feeling?
Great. Never better.
Supervisor Park smiled softly, nodding.
That's good to hear. Shall we head out now?
Head out? Oh, you mean leaving?
Yes, let's go together.
Oh, I don't have a quitting time. I'm not just a new teacher anymore. I finished reading the handbook.
But you can still leave.
That's not possible, though? It's time for me to head to the Sprout class and help prepare for opening. Oh, right! Teacher Soleum, want to come with me?
A chill ran down my spine.
Teacher Soleum, you don't know which class you'll be assigned to yet, do you? You haven't read the handbook yet. If you read it, you'll find out. Your assigned class.
Supervisor Park extended his hand to me.
What do you think? It'd be great if we were in the Sprout class together. We used to be on the same squad, after all.
I naturally stepped back, making sure that I looked like I was considering his suggestion. His outstretched hand swiped through empty air.
Thank you for the offer, but I need to drop this outside the exit first.
I lifted the briefcase.
I borrowed some things, and I think I need to return them within the time limit.
Teacher Soleum, all those interesting items you carry around were borrowed? Then should I ask the other teachers to help move it?
It's just one briefcase. If you wouldn't mind, could you accompany me to the entrance for a moment? Supervisor Badger specifically requested it.
Supervisor Badger? Sure. Let's go to the entrance together. Yes, I'd appreciate it if you could accompany me to the entrance. Quietly, so we don't disturb anyone.
I turned and began walking out of the playroom. Right behind me followed the fully contaminated Supervisor Park, now a teacher. Slowly, I moved forward. Right behind me, I could hear the sound of soft slippers. Not the hard click of dress shoes, quietly trailing me.
Oh, let me help you carry the briefcase.
Before I could finish saying it was fine, the teacher's hand grabbed half of the briefcase I was holding. The perfect teacher's handbook in his hand brushed against mine. The sharp, piercing sound that messes with my mind isn't there. Neither is the overwhelming terror or fear that makes me want to lose my mind. The entrance isn't far now. All I have to do is walk. Is sneaking out to the entrance the right thing to do? Look at me cursing. Maybe it's because I've never read the handbook, but somehow it feels a little embarrassing. Maybe reading the handbook isn't a punishment at all. Perhaps it's an opportunity disguised as a penalty, a chance to learn. Wait. Let's not just dismiss this as contamination. Let's consider it seriously. This is a great workplace. Preparing for a perfect opening with polite and compliant colleagues is the ultimate joy. I have the potential to become a perfect teacher. Something kindergarten has shown me that. I scoffed at myself. Don't I know that even getting caught in a lie results in punishment? I should just give up on the entrance efficiently. That's the logical thing to do. I should voluntarily start reading the handbook here. I could even ask Teacher Park Min-seong to join me. If I just borrow the handbook, stop entertaining other thoughts. But if I think about it a little more, I'll start to believe this isn't such a bad idea. Focus on moving forward. One step at a time, the entrance grows closer. Instead of the dirty, cluttered entrance I first walked through, it now looks pristine, clean enough to make me hesitate about leaving.
So, we just have to throw this bag, right?
I grabbed the briefcase, and in the motion, the handbook that had been brushing against my hand slipped and fell.
Shall we throw it together?
Yes, that sounds good.
Hold on to this part for me.
Finally, I turned my head. Standing in my view was Supervisor Park Min-seong, smiling with the face of a teacher. He reached out his upper body and hands, just as I had instructed, ready to grab the briefcase. I grabbed Supervisor Park's head without hesitation, and I shoved it roughly into my forearm. The subspace connected to my tattoo on my wrist has the volume of a 60-centimeter cube per side. But it isn't a literal cube, it's a malleable, irregular subspace. So, when converted into other measurements, it can easily fit the body of an adult man. I fixed my gaze upward. The humanoid body resisted as I pushed it into the tattoo, its joints feeling like they were breaking apart. I made sure to start with the head on purpose. Talking to him would have definitely affected me, making the contamination worse. I kept pressing down with one hand. The subspace within the tattoo swallowed it without resistance. Ah, the handbook touched it. No, I'll keep that separate. There's no way I'll let it go in. Finally, I crammed in the last of his legs. Something suddenly grabbed my left forearm. Fingers gripping tightly with unnatural strength, pale as death. It was Supervisor Park's right hand. I tried to pry off his fingers one by one, but it wasn't working. I can't injure a teacher. I had no idea how this darkness would react if I did. I took out the blood-sucking knife and drove it into my own arm. The fingers tore away, taking chunks of flesh from my forearm. It was pain that should have made me scream like crazy, but adrenaline and sheer tension kept me silent. As I shoved the last of his fingers into the tattoo, I hurried toward the entrance. The bright blue sky of daylight greeted me. Behind me, only the decrepit, abandoned building of a private kindergarten remained. The sunlight glimmered over the wild grass in the outskirts of Seoul. There lay assistant manager Eun Haja's body, missing a hand, collapsed on the ground. None of the other company staff were around. They must have already left. I reached into my pocket and pulled out my smartphone. Following protocol, I pressed a button. As if to confirm I was back in reality, the signal connected, and someone answered the call.
This is the security team storage, correct?
I need equipment to contain contamination. I've rescued a contaminated employee.
And then I passed out.